Well, hello again. I know that those of you who have been following this series have been wondering what's going on with that radio. John should have had a video posted by now, turning it on, showing everybody how it's going to play and all that. Well, you'll recall that we had a lot of problems with this power transformer right in the beginning. I had to repair it. It was burned. And we got it all going good, and we were putting out the proper voltage and all that, so we went ahead and put it all back together. And what I decided to do was, rather than turn it on and bring it up slowly and let everybody see what was happening, I figured, it could not be fully fixed. I did what I could, and I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time and everybody's energy on a radio that really would not play. Because, the odds are 50-50. It's either going to play or it's not. Well, this time, it did not play. And it's not because the wiring's bad. Everything's good on the wiring. The problem is these three tubes. This one, and this one. The filament's only partially lit. This is from the B winding on the power transformer right here. Okay, the high voltage winding is good. Now those three tubes fit in these three sockets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, these tubes over here lit up perfectly. These three tubes over here only partially lit up. You could see the glow, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So, of course, I got no sound out of the radio. At first, I thought it might have been bad wiring that I did on the bottom of the sockets. I went back and checked everything. There was no mistakes. Well, there was one mistake, and I corrected it, and it still didn't make any difference. And so, here's what I'm talking about. Here's the schematic. Let me get over here and sit down. Right here. This is our... Zoom in here a little bit. This is our B winding right here. We have B, B, and then a center tap. Now those windings feed, that winding feeds this 24 tube. It feeds the filament on this 24 tube. See the letter B right there? And it also feeds the filament on the output tube, the 47 tube. And those are the three tubes that I have laying on the desk right here. They take 2.5 volts throughout. It's wired in parallel. It takes 2.5 volts all the way through to light them up. We're not getting 2.5 volts. We're getting, with all three tubes connected, we're getting about 1.6, sometimes even less than a volt. So I contacted Brendan, my mentor, about this, and we discussed it in length. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's a bad tube. Maybe it's a bad tube socket. Maybe something's wrong there. And Brendan says, no. He says, it looks to me like this winding is bogging down. As it begins to load, you start out with 2.5 volts or thereabouts, and then as the tubes begin to warm up, sure enough, the load develops on the winding, and the voltage goes down, and we don't have enough voltage to light those filaments. So that's where we were, and so I decided, well, instead, okay, let's make sure. Let's make absolutely sure. I told Brendan, I said, I'm going to take the tubes out. I'm going to wire them up parallel with gator wires. We're going to go ahead and feed the voltage into it, just like from the Variac. Over here, I just feed 117 volts into the radio, and connect these three tubes to that winding with gator wire going underneath here and here, here and here. There's the red one, the red one and the yellow one. Okay, it's hooked to those two winding wires underneath the chassis. I said, we'll go ahead and put the power to it, and then I'll start disconnecting a tube. See what happens. If I disconnect this one, the voltage goes up. And if I disconnect this one, and the voltage goes up, and then we know, in fact, it is the winding. So here are the results of that test that I sent Brendan. Well, there we are with all three tubes gator wired together. We get 1.8, and then gator wired to the winding, of course. There's one, and there's the other going underneath there. I don't know. Let me go ahead and disconnect this end tube here. See if that does anything. Yep, the old voltage goes up. Alright, let's take this one. Disconnect it. Yeah, big increase. That's what's happening. It's bogging down the winding. Loading it down. Oh, that's terrible. Well, that's it, guys. Until further notice, this thing's going to sit. Brendan claims he has a way of fixing this. This is While he's coming up with that sort of thing, I'm going to open up this power transformer again. For all I know, it might be an easy fix or something. I mean, yes, it's putting out voltage. It's just unable to handle the load, okay? But everything else works good. Everything else works good. At least as far as applying power. I don't know if we're going to get any sound out of it, so we'll have to figure it out when the time comes. But first, we got to get these tubes to light up. Well, that's it. Until next time, I don't know how long it'll be. There'll be some heavy discussion on this with Brendan and I over the next few days. You can bet on that, because I want to understand what's going on. He probably can come up with a fix in 5 minutes. I'm one of these guys that say, okay, Brendan, I see what you're doing, but explain to me why, all right? And then I can pass that on to you. That's what this is all about. From my mentor to me to you, that's what this restoration stuff is all about. I'm sure there's 2 or 3 ways to fix it. We'll let you know what that is. Until next time, this is John.